Nightly greetings, one and all. William Theo here, homegrown and happy to be bringing you PTV News Now. The mighty nation of China has expressed readiness to engage with the United States at all levels of talks. So says Vice President Han Zeng as he spoke at a Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore a week ahead of the next big gathering of world leaders in San Francisco, California, a week from now for the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Huddle. Ties between the two major superpowers froze when the pandemic began, with the United States accusing China for the global breakout at the Wuhan lab. China, meanwhile, hit back with accusations that it was the U.S. Army that brought with them the virus when they came over to China. A Senate group headed by Senate Majority Floor Leader Chuck Schumer made the trip to Beijing to meet briefly with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's trip to Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago was the icing on the cake that paved the way for this latest Beijing declaration. Expect U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping to find time for a high-level sit-down chat in the sidelines of next week's San Francisco APEC Summit meet. The October 7 shock attacks by Hamas fighters in various Israel communities and kibbutzes was the spark that lit up Israel vendetta and this war of annihilation against the people of Gaza. But like UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, those brutal attacks did not happen in a vacuum. Palestinians, like many freedom-loving countries, have been pointing to Israel's occupation of Gaza as the root cause of all the armed conflicts for the past 70 years. Hence, any plans to reoccupy Gaza will fail, as VOA's Cindy Sains tells us in this report.
1 month after the brutal attacks by the U.S.-designated terrorist organization Hamas, that Israel says killed 1,400 people and injured 5,400, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made headlines during an interview with ABC News.
Those who don't want to continue the way of Hamas, it certainly is not, I think Israel will, for an indefinite period, will have the overall security responsibility, because we've seen what happens when we don't have it. When we don't have that security responsibility, what we have is the eruption of Hamas terror on a scale that we couldn't imagine.
At the White House, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby was asked about Netanyahu's comments.
We'll let them speak to their intentions, but we are definitely having conversations about what the post-conflict environment ought to look like and what governance in Gaza ought to look like. One thing there's absolutely no daylight on is Hamas can't be part of that equation. You can't go back to October 6th.
At the State Department Tuesday, spokesperson Vedant Patel was also asked about the future of Gaza after the current fighting ends.
Gaza is Palestinian land, and it will remain Palestinian land. And generally speaking, we do not support reoccupation of Gaza, and neither does Israel. Secretary Blinken was fairly clear about that during his travels as well.
The Secretary of State just completed another tour of the Middle East. He met with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and indicated that the Palestinian Authority might be best suited to administer Gaza after the war. One expert who spoke to VOA said he believes a two-state solution for Israelis and Palestinians is still the best hope for a lasting peace in the region. Gilead Sher was chief of staff to former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. He spoke to VOA via Zoom from Israel.
And I believe that this goes through a rehabilitation of Gaza with a gradual integration of the Palestinian Authority with the help of the Saudis, perhaps, the Gulf states, Egypt, Jordan, the United States. The Sunni axis, the Sunni Western axis, could help that come a reality.
Blinken left the Middle East and headed to Asia for a G7 meeting. But the Israel-Hamas war was still very much a top issue of discussion.
Very much appreciate the words of support and sympathy in the wake of the horrific attack by Hamas that did result, as you noted, in American victims as well as American hostages. And this is a very important moment as well for G7 to come together in the face of this crisis and to speak as we do with one clear voice.
Protests of U.S. military support for Israel followed Blinken to Japan as international outrage grows over the mounting civilian death toll in Gaza. At least 10,328 people in Gaza have been killed and 25,900 have been wounded, the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry said Tuesday. Cindy Sain, VOA News.
And at this point, let's turn to our colleague in Pine City to get us up to speed on what's up in the Cordillera. Eddie?
Ngayong pagkarabi Pilipinas na iswati OG Pinas with Open Government Partnership Advocacy Campaign iti Luzon. Kang runa na panggap da ito, iti panakapapigsa ti public participation iti policy making and governance. Pinasatan da ito dagiti membro ti OGP, National Steering Committee, kan dagiti nagduduma as civil society organizations, LGUs, iti Region 1, 2, 3, kan Cordillera. Nagpirma da pa iti Pledge of Commitment para iti Open Government. Iti mensahe ni Undersecretary Marlo Iringan, napatag ti aktibidad tapno may pakamoy ti Philippine Open Government, kan ti epekto na iti local governance, and pagpapay ti OG Pinas nga italo ti Open Government kan partengan dagiti nagduduma nga aktibidad para iti pagsayaatan dagiti umili.
Through OG Pinas, we hope to bridge the gap and bring the PH-OGP closer to the hearts of every Filipino. We hope to ignite a passion for participation in government initiatives, processes, and efforts, fostering a sense of ownership in the pursuit of an improved and open government. We want our citizens to grasp the profound importance of open government in the process of improving the quality of public service delivery, thus leading to better lives.
Iti tadua pa damag kalpasan tinabara kontrobersya iti Beneco iti Calabas. Natutukan ni Engineer Melchor Licoben kas General Manager iti Kooperatiba. Sigon iti Beneco Interim Board, nasurok nasurot ti naingat vetting process amay tunos iti pagalagadan iti National Electrification Administration. Naala ni Engineer Licoben ti kangatwa na puntos ken isuna iti inrekomendar dagiti Board of Administrators ti NIA. Bayat nga unanimous mo ti desisyon ti Interim Board anang piliken kwa na. Nalaos mo ti panagyaman ni Engineer Licoben iti panakapiliken kwa na amang sukat iti daydisigod a General Manager Gerardo Versosa nang runa kadagiti amin nga stakeholders kan iti pamilyana at timultulong kingkwana. May pasidong ni Engineer Licoben iti 2 bulan at transition period kan ditoy ang maripaso iti agbalin na performance na kas imandato ti niya. Payat at tinawan ang may pasidong iti review ti performance ditoy. May saka iti kang na commitment ni Engineer Licoben ti panakatutok ti franchise renewal kan iti panakapili ti baro supplier ti kuryente ti kooperatiba.
EcoCare simply stands for clean, affordable, reliable, efficient, and sustainable distribution network. So DJ nakasummarize sa amin DJ ti Aramidon tayo. And of course, while these are our plans, we cannot do this without the help of everyone. That's why we thank the MCOs for continuously patronizing our co-op.
Bueno, tagita damdamag manipo dito'y PTV Cordillera siyak ni Eddie Carta na imbag Arabi.
And that's a wrap for tonight's show. Tune in again tomorrow night, same time, same channel on your tube or cable box. And never forget to be aware, stay fit, be kind, be of use as much as you can. Catch the news here on PTV.